welcome to the Knock on KCLR and Scoreline.ie's weekly rugby podcast. Tom Crotty from Carlow Rugby Club, the Presidente of Carlow Rugby Club, joins us. James Blanchfield from Kilkenny. Lads, how's it going?
Hi, Stephen.
Hi, Stephen. Hi, Tom.
All good. Lads, lots to talk about this weekend. We have a big match for Kilkenny against Ashbourne on Saturday to save their season. Towns Cup for Carlow. Tullow, we'll talk about that. Ireland's win over Italy, which didn't really impress us very much. And then if we get time later on the show as well, we'll talk about a couple of the signings Leinster have made, just retaining the Byrne brothers particularly, and a good few of the back rows signed on as well. We have to mention as well, congratulations to Tullow's Dana O'Brien. She was selected in the first ever Rugby talent squad, so that's a nice one, a nice coup for the club in that as well. And it's the first time ever they've had a talent squad set up in the country. Look at potential players that could go on to be international, so great to see, and nice to see a local person selected there as well. Suppose we get cracking. We'll start with Saturday, Kilkenny Ashbourne, but we'll go back to last week. If the defibrillator wasn't taken out last week, James, it'll never be taken out. That was it. That was some finish.
Cat has 9 lives, lads. We were down. We were gone. I couldn't go. I had COVID last week, so I was stuck at home for the week. But I was getting telephone updates, kind of going, "Yeah, we're winning. We're doing well. No, we're not doing well." Got a phone call with 5 minutes to go in the game, more or less saying, "No, it's over. We're gone." Next thing I saw it up on Twitter, 17 all. I was going, or up on the WhatsApp group, 17 all. I was going, Jesus Christ. Next thing the video came through of the kick, and it was probably one of the first times this season where we've had our first choice back line out. Jake Prattley was back in, Jake McDonald, the whole crew were there, and they were, it was great to get them back in. Could have won the game. We drew it. By all accounts, like we saw the video, it was bloody incredible kick.
Great kick.
Under the pressure he was under. His brother Hugh Corkfield kicked the ball. His brother Tim was the Irish 20s out half for 2 seasons. You might recall he kicked a similar conversion against England down in Musgrave Park, in Northampton a couple of seasons ago. That was nearly an identical kick. But Hugh actually tried to steal a couple of yards to bring it infield, and the Dundalk crowd kicked up. Referee turned around and brought him back, and kind of, I think Hugh more or less, he's a real confidence chap. I coached him since he was a young fella. He kind of turned around and gave them a look and said, "Right, I'm going to nail this." And look at the rest of history. He nailed it. But we're not out of the woods. Massive game this weekend, probably one of the biggest games we've ever had in the club. Because when we look across the season. In 8 games, we have been within 1 score, so like bonus points have been picked up the whole way through. Our 7 games, I think we've been within 1 score. The only ones where we got properly annihilated was Monkstown home and away and Bective away. Everything else has been thereabouts. So, Ashbourne at home this Saturday, they're riding the crest of a wave. I think they've gone 5-6 games unbeaten now. They'll be coming down to us, there's no doubt in our mind they're coming down to relegate us. But look, we just have to fight away. Not sure what sort of team we're going to have out. I think it's probably going to be a fairly strong team. You're hearing me all season complaining about our front row and our scrum, but yet they're doing very, very well. But it's probably 2 penalty tries this season that off of scrums that has us in the position we're in. But look at what may come on Saturday by 4:30, we'll see. But we're going to do everything we can to stay in the league. And, if we go down, we won't be crying over spilled milk. We know why we've gone down, and we know that it's going to give us an opportunity to rebuild and get going and play against Tullow and Carlow next year in a few games in the southeast. And,
Tom and Johnny will have to be standing there with open arms.
Yeah. That's it. The ambition is not like the ambition is to stay in 1A. The team are good enough, and that's what I was alluding to when I mentioned kind of the 1 score differences in games. We're every bit as good as the Sea Points, the Bectives, the Setonians who we beat at home. The Gories. We're every bit as good at them. We're just probably struggling in squad depth. We have a few older players in the team. That's not a bad thing. We need them. The nucleus of our team has been knocking around since about 2013, 2014. so we've a strong, experienced team. The ambition is to stay in 1A, and hopefully we can get a few players in, a few Kilkenny players that are playing elsewhere. I think half Kilkenny is playing in Old Wesley at the moment, so I hope we can get a few of them back as well, and try and build for next year. I firmly think that we league aside, that our team are actually good enough to have a serious cut at the Towns Cup.
Oh, absolutely. Well, come here. The best of luck this weekend, James. From I suppose we're all in agreement to that one. I would like to see you staying up. What happens if you draw or win?
A win will put us into the playoff spot against Wicklow. That there was potential then that the playoff might be a dead grubber, because it's highly likely that Bective are going to get promoted back to AIL. So that means there's one down, and like bottom goes straight down, and then Wicklow will come straight up. So Wicklow still have hope of getting promoted to 1A. Likewise, we have hope of staying in 1A. So there's a lot of variables there. A draw is really no use to us, I don't think. I think it has to be a win. We did think that if we won with a bonus point, we'd put Gorey into the relegation playoff spot. However, Gorey picked up a bonus point last week, so they'll finish 1 point ahead of us should we win this Saturday. So look, there's a lot of variables there, but for us, the only show in town is to win.
Would you think Bective will go up?
If you were to talk to their president, no, he doesn't want to go up. But I would say that team in Bective and Byrne or Jackman will probably want to go up. Bective as a club, I think, are happy in the league they're in rather than having to travel all around Ireland. But I would say the Bective players want to go up. I'd say Jackman will want to go up and steer them on. When I look at what's in the other provinces, I think Connemara won the Connacht League last weekend. It's looking like Newcastle West and is it Bandon in Cork? Bandon in Munster, and is it Dromore or Clogher Valley in Ulster? I think is what it's looking like.
All right. Well, come here. The very best of luck, James.
Well, yeah. And the other side is for Bective. Like, if Bective actually don't go back senior this year, they lose their senior club status or their status as a senior club. So, there's a couple of things that play for them as well. But I would safely say they'd probably be good enough going up, because, in fairness, Jackman has them playing. It's not an expansive style of rugby, but it's a bloody effective style of rugby, and they do it really, really well. They're all tuned into their game plan. So for us, I would think Bective will go up, yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Tom.
Here's Johnny.
How are you, man?
We're joined by Johnny Tobin.
How are you?
He's killed out in his Leinster gear and everything. Johnny, a big week. Oh, of course we did. Always do. Just talking about Kilkenny's big match against Ashbourne this weekend. Huge game, of course, and one we're all hoping that they win, of course, as well. For you, Johnny, this weekend it's all about Towns Cup. You've got new roster, a couple of divisions below you, but nonetheless, you're not going to go down there thinking you have it won, I suppose.
No, well, they're only one division below us at the moment. They're up into 2A, so and your Ross is never an easy place to go and get a win. So we won't be going down thinking it's going to be any great shake. And look, it's Towns Cup, anything can happen. Cup rugby is a different kettle of fish completely to what you can do in the league. In the league, you get two chances to play a team, and the Towns Cup you've one shot and that's it. So won't be anything easy anyway.
New Ross aren't a bad side, lads. Like, I know, they're in the old Division 4. What is it? Division 2B, is it?
2B, the one Division 2B there,
the one Division 2B. Like, I mean, they have Tank Roach there playing, or Tank Ryan playing number 8 for them. They have Turkey Roach back playing as well. I think Jim Ryan is back playing for them. The Buddha Furnace is coaching them. So New Ross will be strong. You'll always know what you're going to get against them.
Yeah, no, for sure. I've watched a couple of games they've played as well. I've seen videos of them playing Midland Warriors and stuff. They play a weird style of rugby, but it's effective at that division. So if you get bogged down in it, it can be effective in any division.
Yeah. They'll probably be happy to get promoted, Johnny. That was probably their main aim. So they mightn't be.
Yeah, well, that was their biggest thing, was to get promoted. Like Byrne went down and beat them 2 weeks ago, and nobody expected Byrne to beat them. But they'd already got promoted, like, you know.
I'd say their head was in the clouds over that one because
I'd say they were still on the beer.
Borough were also fighting for Borough fighting for relegation out of that division as well. Yeah, they were down the bottom. That win put them safe. Otherwise, they would have been relegated.
You know, I'm always very happy to see New Ross do well, though. You know, like, I mean, they're kind of. I'm being from Thomastown, they'd be kind of local to me as well. You know, they're only 20 minutes down the road, 25 minutes down the road. So we would have always been.
I'm very happy to see him doing well because it's great for the Southeast to have teams competing in 2A, 1B, 1A. Like it's a lot better. Like there's 9 clubs in the Southeast, and if all 9 of them are competing in 2A, 1B, 1A, it's a lot better than having to compete in Division 3 and Division 2.
Well, absolutely. And they're a fine club down there.
Yeah,
my wife is from New Ross.
Good man, Tom.
My brother lives down there.
Only lives around the corner from the rugby club, so we've had many a night in New Ross rugby club.
I have to hand it to Derek Furness though. He's done some job, like, to put he took them over, like when he came in 2 seasons ago. That they went the full year nearly unbeaten in the league. And they went down. I think Niall Neville was coaching them at the time. No disrespect to Niall, but he just probably couldn't get the best out of the players he had. And in fairness, the Buddha Furness came back in and he got lads from left, right, and centre out of retirement. And he's won after winning a league with them. So I'd say you'll have your hands full with them Sunday, Johnny.
Yeah, it
won't be simple, you know. And we're not in too bad shape, to be fair. A couple of young lads actually have come back. It's great. Jack Hanlon's after signing back for Tullow there, back from Clontarf. So, like, that's a great boost for us. Jack played for me yesterday with IT Carlow. Scored 2 tries in the wing. He's an incredible young player. Like, he gives you something that we've been missing for a while. He's a bit of an edge about him, like, you know. So, a couple other young lads back from injury. What's that, James?
It's on in New Ross, isn't it? It's on in South now.
It's in New Ross, yeah. Oh, but it's in Tullow. You'd have to be that little bit more confident if it was in Tullow, but it's. New Ross are very, like I said last week, they're a very proud club, and it's not going to be anything easy about going down there and winning there.
Down in the glory
last time we played New Ross was Morris's very first year. We beat them 10-0 with probably our strongest first team we could have available. So we don't have anywhere near our strongest first team available this weekend. So we'll be up against it.
Yes, here we go. Well, the weather forecast is to be dry for the next couple of days anyway, so at least you have that going for you as well. The temperatures sort of mildish up around 8-9 degrees during the day, so not too bad. Tom, you've got Longford coming down, always a tricky team to play, but you're at home, which is huge. Good win last week against Clondalkin as well to get you prepped up, so...
Yeah, they had a good first half against Clondalkin, and then they kind of got a good lead on them, a good lead in the first half, and then kind of things kind of went a bit out the window after that. But look, if it was for us, the boys got to run out. We have a fairly full side. We're missing. Thanks, Johnny, for taking out one of our players.
Thanks, Johnny.
Yeah. I don't wonder if
I don't have him for the final now.
Yeah, utility back.
Lads, no fighting, please.
You wouldn't mind me there.
You can leave the fighting for the sidelines in Blackgates or Oak Park.
Yeah, he wouldn't leave him alone. I know. There's one of the lads after dislocating his shoulder, so he's actually going to end up retiring from rugby. So, he would have been a good utility back. Other than that, I think we're fairly all right. As I say, Longford is going to be a bloody tough game. You can't judge the last league game we played against them. If you looked at the video of it, we actually went back. Longford has knocked the ball on over the line. They messed up 1 or 2 attacking lineouts near the end, so the score wasn't as pretty as it looked. You know, if you go to the nitty and gritty part of the game, we defended for an awful long time during that game. So no matter what the score was the last day, it's a totally different game now. We're into cup, so it's either you're just trying to win the games, even if it's only by 1 point. It doesn't matter. It's a cup is cup. A cup match is a cup match. They'll be strong up front. They always have a strong pack. Their 10 is good and has a fine boot on them. So if he's in form kicking, you can't give away a penalty. Something we've been absolutely disastrous with in the last while. We have to get our penalty counts down. If we don't get our penalty to count down, we won't win that game. End of story. So I think that game is going to be on the knife edge. And no matter what, anybody's like, I know people kind of looked and went, "Oh, we got Longford and you had a great win against them the last day." That all goes, John said earlier, like that all goes out the window when you come to a cup game. Longford a good side, tough side. I think that it'll going to be a ding dong battle. It's not going to be pretty.
They're probably one of the most unpredictable sides that I've ever seen Kilkenny play Longford, because it's like that. You kind of judge them and then they arrive and they just bring this A game that is impossible to break down, and they're strong and they're hardy and
absolutely they
nail their penalties and
but they have a couple of fine players. Like like as I said, their pack are strong, and they will keep coming at you and coming at you and coming at you. And as I say, depending, hopefully now it's a nice fine day with not a whole lot of wind. That's because they have a good kicker again with the boot. So look, I think it's going to be a great game. I think it'll be a ding dong. It's going to be one of those ding dong battles that you're going to have in the cup, especially. I mean, a Towns Cup is Towns Cup. Everybody wants to win it. I mean, James, you said straight away, like, I mean, even though you're fighting about relegation, you have a glint in your eye because you're looking at there's the Towns Cup there. So I mean, everybody here in the southeast, the Towns Cup means so much. It's such a fantastic competition. It just brings out people. Like we have a sold out pre-match lunch, and everything this Sunday. So and that's just people come. It's that sort of atmosphere. And we have then Saturday, which is a full weekend of rugby, because it kind of we probably could have done without it. But we have Byrne coming to Carlow to play the second Towns Cup on 3:00 on Saturday. Byrne's it's their first team. So our seconds, even though they played well all season, they've a couple of injuries and a couple of lads missing. So they're really going to have to be clued in and play their best game, bring their A game, or else they're going to struggle. That's going to be a tough match on Saturday. So we've a tough weekend of rugby ahead of us. Just delighted that both games are at home.
The way Byrne go into the Seconds Cup, it makes it very difficult. They make them it's a difficult team to beat, even though they've never won it. We beat them in a Seconds Cup semi-final semi-final. No, quarter-final. It took 3 games to beat them. I remember back 2005, I was playing. It took us 3 games for our seconds to beat their first. Like,
you never do that easy though, James.
Well.
It's a tough one, and especially kind of, as I said, a couple of injuries. We have a couple of injuries there that happened kind of with the first, like Putty Nolan that's gone out is packed in for the rest of the season, so that's a loss from the first. But that backs up, we're bringing players up from the seconds. As I said, Cormac there dislocated his shoulder, so there's another player going to have to rest on the second. So
in fairness, now Tom,
it's not easy.
Cormac's a big loss for Carlow, obviously, but for IT Carlow as well. Like he's a young guy. He's an incredible player. Came down from Wicklow to go to college in Carlow. I think he's playing really nice rugby at the moment. And I was actually, when you're involved with teams that are not your own, you don't get as emotionally attached to it. But I was devastated to see Cormac go to the ground the other day. Absolutely devastated. Like the chap's had 2 surgeries on his shoulder, and now he pops it out again, and that's his rugby done. Like at 22, 23 years of age.
Wow.
Rugby done, like
a lovely fella.
He's a great fella, great chap. So
all joking aside with that, I mean it's a horrible thing to happen to anyone, but anyway.
Yeah, it's the problem. That's the problem though as well with college rugby and clubs rugby and having lads playing college and club. It's a workload that you try and manage.
College is the most enjoyable rugby I ever played. I was lucky enough. I won 2 All-Ireland senior colleges with LIT, but it was the most enjoyable rugby I ever played. It was just great crack. I loved it.
The lads say, the lads are. Well, I think they are anyway. They say they're enjoying it. They're enjoying the training and the games. We're moving well. We're building well since the league, and that was a big win yesterday. Like TUD beat us start of the year by 37 points. They have 21 scholarships,
Good turnaround.
21 rugby scholarships. We have 4 rugby scholarships on our team. We have 2 AIL players in our squad. They have, I'd say, easily 15.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, like another young
Johnny.
Carlow chap there, Sean Quinlan. I think Sean's 18 years of age, 19 years of age, is he?
Yeah.
He was outstanding yesterday. He played 13 for us yesterday. Adam Johnson from Tullow, 18, played in the centre. Outstanding, the two of them. Not even, 18 years of age, fresh out of school. And they tore that TUD backline asunder yesterday. Two of them are incredible to watch.
Yeah, Sean is actually missing Saturday as well. He's
in work, I think, is he?
He was injured, yeah, but he actually broke his nose earlier on in the season, damaged his nose, so he was out he was only actually coming back, but in fairness, young fella has to survive in college too, so he has to work on Saturday and can't get out. He's only after coming back into work, so he can't get.
No, for sure, it has to make a living as well.
No, yeah, exactly. Like you can't blame young fellas either. They all have to live as well as rugby's secondary. Their education and stuff is more important.
Before we move on there, just wanted to congratulate our women on a strong win the weekend away to Navan. 20 points to 10. Puts them outright top of the league. Now, Navan have a few games in hand on them, but if Navan...
You're flying it women-wise, aren't you?
Pardon?
Women are flying it in Kilkenny at the moment.
They're going really well, yeah, in fairness to Paddy and Glenn Tector. I think Glenn Tector's involved as well there. In fairness to them, they have them going really, really well. Have to hand it to the team. They're in there. They've been self-sufficient. They're training away. They've run a table quiz a few weeks ago. They're creating a good atmosphere around it. So we'd love to see them win the league. They need a result to go their way, but they're outright top of the league at the moment. So love to see them win the league and continue on.
Nice for them, all right. Great award for the year.
Yeah.
Tullow flying as well, Johnny.
Yeah, the women are going well. The women are strong. I don't know. They just seem to stay at the same level, that drop that top level there and they say to compete there all the time. So they're going well. But there's 2 good coaches there as well at the moment in Paul and Aho. So they're getting fairly good, sharp coaching. So
great stuff. Great stuff to see Kilkenny.
Are we moving off local stuff, are we?
Well, we'll let you.
Just wish St. George best luck in the next round there. They beat us this evening in the Junior Cup. 1917.
Twitter said you won.
What?
Twitter said you won 17-19, was it?
No, we lost 17-19.
All right.
I'm just currently in Tinryland car park. The lads are left driving by there in the bus. They're after getting their McDonald's there. They're fairly all right now after their McDonald's. But we have Newbridge in the Junior League final in I think it's 3 weeks, 4 weeks. So something to look forward to.
And Newbridge lost to Ross Graham.
That was a big shock.
Yeah, they were playing really, really well in the first half, and Ross Graham made a comeback and beat them.
Well, yeah,
they
I seen a try that was a try that wasn't given in the last play of the game for Newbridge.
Yeah, I didn't. I was only trying to keep. I got being annoyed by.
I'll send you on the video, and you can make up your mind whether you think it's a try. But the referee didn't give it anyway. So around 17-12.
Yeah, we had those before. So anyway,
we'll say no more about it. We had a fantastic referee today. Actually, Brendan from Athy, you know him, Tom.
Brendan Conroy.
Yeah, fantastic. Referee. He was number 2, and the referee's back went into spasm. And he didn't ref the game today. Done a brilliant job.
In fairness to Brendan,
Sorry there, James, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Brendan is one sound man to referee.
Gent.
Yeah, we had, I have to say, I don't know if anyone's listening from upper Clane, Narkildare area, but the Rhinos, the 16s went up to play the Wolves, the combined team between Clane and Narkildare at the weekend. And the referee, I didn't get his name, but he was absolutely fantastic. One of the best referees I've come across as to the decision, the same as anything else, decision.
He in a battle though, let you get over that
one. He spoke so good to the girls. He coached them along, explained everything, talked to them both sides, had a really nice nature about him. So if anybody's listening from whoever refereed that game on Saturday, it was A1 super ref, really, really.
Yeah,
good.
I think sometimes we're very critical of them. We don't give them enough praise when they're good.
Well, the one thing I say, I
thought Brendan was brilliant.
Yeah, I wouldn't step into
today.
the middle of any field. So I think anyone that does refereeing, I know we all give out and we can moan and groan all we want, but you have to step into that role.
I only come out for big occasions, and that right, James?
That's right, Johnny. Southeast finals. Yeah.
After a skin full of pints.
Wearing Man United shorts.
Now, a fair juicy, Johnny, because I tell you one thing, is the last
I don't even own a pair of Man United shorts, James.
Good stuff. Lads, we'll move on to the best of luck the weekend. All the matches, we'll discuss it all next week. Fingers crossed for everyone, of course. Ireland's win over Italy, we'll talk about that before we wrap it up. A good win on the scoreboard, but not a particularly great game to watch. I don't know, who wants to start?
I wouldn't call that a good win.
I call it
played
crap.
an Italian side with 13 players, and it took us 65 minutes to do that.
Absolutely.
Well, in fairness to Italy, lads, they
held their own.
With 13 players, they worked their bloody socks off as well, Johnny, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Well,
look at this now, right? This is 4 minutes in. We get a try. Like, 7-3 for a very long time.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I'll make
but I said it, though.
Johnny,
I think I said it to you, Stephen. Like, England beat them, but they didn't beat them like we thought they would have beat them. France beat them, but didn't beat them like we thought they would have beat them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know? We put up a cricket score against a 13-man Italian team that took us 65 minutes to break them down.
It was a sloppy game. There's just everything was a bit disjointed. There was
from this moment
that was
on,
that was the jam there. Like,
yeah.
You know.
So what we're watching on the screen now is the tackle on Dan Sheehan where his head hits your man's shoulder and he gets a red card for it. But obviously, lads, as you can explain to the listeners, they're not familiar. They lost 2 men over it because their 2 hookers were one was red carded and the other lad hurt his arm or broke his arm.
Well, see,
it's a crazy law.
But the rule is, but that's the same rule. It's the same rule for junior rugby. If you go to uncontested, if you have to go to uncontested scrums, you must go down 1 player. That's the law. To give you advantage.
Monkstown did it with Ashbourne a few weeks ago in the league because they had no props, so they started with 14 players.
Well, De La Salle last year, we had this problem up in De La Salle 2 years ago or a year ago. The referee actually didn't know what to do, and we ended up going to uncontested scrums, but they played with 15. And there was murder after, but it didn't matter. We won the game. But if we lost that game, the idea of the 14 men is that if you go to uncontested scrums, you now lose the advantage of an attacking scrum. Yeah. So the other team has to drop a player to make up for that. You're being penalised if you don't have enough players. And the only thing with Italy is their prop actually was trying to explain that he can hook, and he played as hooker. They're going to have to look at that because they didn't want to go to uncontested scrums.
Yeah. No, I think the sentiment around the reason the law is there is correct. But the application of it in this situation was arseways. You know, and that's what the IRB or World Rugby have to look at is that scenario that came to that happened on Saturday. Because I wouldn't think it was ever considered in the decision around the introduction of that law. You
can be guaranteed that'll change.
Well, it has to change,
like
Johnny,
you see the ruck law when Italy goosed England with this ruck, not competing at the ruck. It was a no-brainer. No one knew what was going on. The English team couldn't deal with it. The Italian team had no clue last Saturday, and now I guarantee you, within the next 6 months that law will be changed.
Yeah,
but it has to be changed because it destroyed the game. But still, the only thing I would say about the game is we didn't break them down for 65 minutes, and I honestly believe the reason that is when Sexton came on, the game changed. That Joey is not the answer there at the moment. And even though he got the first try, but he honestly, I don't think he played well. Sexton came on, changed the whole game.
Made it look easy.
And then, look, he had a young scrum half flying with him there, getting him the ball. And once he got the ball in hand, he was taking the ball to the line, knowing what lines to run, where to attack, when to go into contact, when not to go into contact. Every bit of his game was just superb, and that's when they beat him.
Yeah, Joey should have
been there from the start. It would have been the absolute cricket score.
Yeah, this was a game that Joey should have excelled. This should have been an easy one. You know, if he was able to stand up to France and have a good game there, this is the one that should have been a cakewalk. But it wasn't, and that was the worrying part of it as well.
Yeah, there's just something. I understand why games don't, like, if you've 13
I'm actually
players,
behind that lad now that's cheering. I was telling them to sit down.
They had, if you have 13 men, you're going to fight against your scrums are going to, you're not even going to be in the scrum. So you're basically just going to fan out. So their defense was just working so hard. It will eventually break down, as in get tired. But I still look at it and say it didn't break down until our 10 came on and changed the game.
Absolutely.
2 points. Like, I mean, you have to say that's Joey Carberry's second game of rugby since November. First point. Second point, that chap on the screen, Ryan Baird, I think is going to be the next big thing we have. I think
unreal.
He is going to be the next Paul O'Connell in my eyes of Irish rugby. Like, if you look at his frame, like the width of his shoulders alone, and he still is growing. Like, he's only 22 when he actually builds out.
Yeah.
Well, that's the only issue he has is he's probably still on the not on the lighter side of it, but kind of on wouldn't quite have the mature physicality. Give him another year or two, and he hits, when he hits about 25. He'll have his maturity, and he should have his.
I think Ryan Baird was very lucky not to be cited for his high challenge on the weekend.
He's going to get to it.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Whatever about being the next Paul O'Connell, I think he was very lucky to get away with not being cited for his challenge. It was very little difference in his challenge and the hooker's challenge from Italy.
A couple of positives over the last couple of games. Dan Sheehan stepping up, and putting pressure on that hooker role as well. That's brilliant. Lowry did a great job in the game as well. Great to see James Lowe back. He didn't do much wrong, in fairness to him. Mac Hansen as well, another great find. And plenty of competition there as well. Craig Casey was a little live wire as well, I thought. Very good distributor.
Sure, he loves, but he walked onto the pitch with having Johnny Sexton with him.
He loved it.
He can't go wrong. So he has a maturity there, that's going to control him, because the last game he had from Munster, he was like he's like a rabbit in the headlights. He was just going around like a lunatic.
This was very sound.
And not making. But if the way I see it with Ireland, James Hume had a great game. I thought Henshaw was poor.
Yeah, he did.
I really thought Henshaw.
I'd agree with you there, Tom.
Very poor.
He's very quiet.
We missed Bundyaki as well. There's just something about him there. His physicality, his offloading game. There's Johnny. If you're watching the screen, anyone's watching the screen, you can just see a try that comes on from that. Johnny takes the ball right to the line, and then ball recycled and straight in for a try.
Josh van der Fleer again, unreal. Caelan Doris had a savage match. I did think, though, the back row was a bit disjointed. I'm not laying any of the blame on Peter O'Mahony's doorstep, but I don't know, it just felt a bit.
In my eyes, Caelan
you're anti-Munster. That's all wrong.
No, I'm not. No,
says the lad. Caelan Doris, in my head, is a great player when everything is going right for the team. And I think that's when Caelan Doris really, really comes to his best. And I don't think he is the sort of player in a game like that might go. And he had a great game, but I don't think he'll go and excel. I think there's a bit more. That's a bit of his game that needs to improve. When there's a dogfight, that he probably.
But that's what I'm kind of saying, James. He needs that. But it's like a good prop. I think when you hit a top class second row, no matter how good he is, it's going to take a little bit of time. Even a Toje.
Yeah,
it took him to get into 20. When he came and hit about 25, he was just starting to really, really, and he's that. I think he's Ireland's Atoje. I think.
You're right. I think
he's Ireland's Atoje, and I think he's got so much balance to his game.
I see your point. Yeah. The other thing is like Stephen, you were just touching on the positives. The worry there is we're after losing two of our starting front row for the rest of the tournament.
Andrew Porter's gone, lads.
So that's a serious loss. That's a serious loss.
Now you've Keane Healy and Killer there behind them, but it's a huge loss. Yeah. I know Keane Healy's quality and Killer did a good job at the weekend as well, Dave Kilcoyne, but it's massive. It's huge. Yeah.
I mean, that's why we have the depth charts we have now at the moment. You have Finlay Bellum there, who, he's
did
there.
A good job.
He's there. You have Dave Kilcoyne, you have Tom O'Toole, you have Keane Healy. Could one of the Byrnes from Carlow now, or the chap of the Byrnes from Carlow, get a look in now because there's an opening there on that side. There's at least be brought into a squad. If it was 10 years ago and we're in this predicament in the front row, you'd be going, oh Jesus, we're going to go back all day. But we have depth there now. Like Dan Sheehan is class.
John Sheen is a super player. John, he's at this little bit of a break that he's going to get is just, I'd say, it's going to bring him on leaps and bounds. It's going to be serious competition for place.
Yeah, absolutely.
They might need Leinster. You could see a Carberry situation now where Dan Sheehan or Kelleher, some of them might get the curly finger and say you need to be starting game time every week. Could you?
I don't think they'll move them from Leinster.
Yeah, he'd look well in red.
Your eyes off him.
No, I wouldn't agree with that. Like Andrew Porter was in Leinster, he needed to be getting game time ahead of Cian Healy and Tyke Furlong. What did he do? He improved his game and he put Cian Healy to the bench.
Yeah, but the thing is, Cian Healy was getting on. Cian Healy's now 35, is he? You know, he's getting on anyway. His 80 minutes.
Yeah, but still, he's playing probably better rugby. He's played the last 2 years than what he's played in 6 years.
You know,
Hooker's really good stuff the last 2 years.
You know,
who's the third choice hooker in Leinster?
Rob Herring,
Sean Cronin.
Sean Cronin, yeah.
Leinster, Sean Cronin.
Well, he's going to retire in the next while, so you're only going to have you need 2 hookers.
Exactly, they're going. Dan Sheehan and is going nowhere. Dan Sheehan's definitely going nowhere.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's going anywhere, Johnny. But what I'm saying is, might for his own game be best to go and be a first choice hooker.
Yeah. Brian Byrne thought that to go to Bristol Bears to get regular game time. Is Brian Byrne third choice hooker in Bristol?
Right.
But he'd been injured for 3/4 of the season, though, Johnny, again.
He did,
but he was in Leinster. He was third choice at the time.
Yeah.
And left to get more game time out of Bristol and was getting second choice.
Yeah, but he was first choice. He was getting first choice game, though, at the start of the season.
Brian?
Brian was started. He actually started a lot of the first few games with Bristol. Then he got injured. Yeah. No, he definitely had a good few starts, but then it was injured.
They're talking now about Peter Dooley going to Connacht.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Like out of the loose heads now, Andrew Porter and Leinster is gone. Cian Healy's getting on. Ed Byrne is there, and Peter Dooley's going to Connacht.
But what age is Peter Dooley?
23, 20. No, Peter Dooley's actually older. Peter Dooley's very similar age to Thomas Daly. I think he's 26 or 27.
We forgot about James Tracy, by the way, as hookers.
Yeah, James Tracy actually in Leinster as well.
Yeah. You know.
James, he's getting on too.
He's only young.
Yeah.
He's not getting on. That's the problem.
Yeah, it's all right. He's a wealthy enough girlfriend there or wife.
I can't see the IRFU starting to move any more front row players around in Leinster anyway. Definitely not.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I couldn't see it.
I'm sure that there's a South African they go pull in.
Bundy Aki wasn't too worried, I'd say, about his position now after Robbie's performance against Italy. I'd say it'd be back to Bundy and Gary for the next game.
Well,
for the England game.
Yeah, has to be. Has to be there. Bundy Aki has to be back in for.
Robbie's a bit rusty.
I don't know. I just think Henshaw's missing form. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he can't afford. That's well.
On big days, he's been one of our best players on big days.
I still have Bundy in for that one.
6 weeks ago, we were saying he was one of the best centres in the world.
I think he's out of form, but he had a poor game and he hasn't.
A bad game against a bad team.
Absolutely.
I don't know. He's been out for a while injured. He's coming back.
Look further in the line. We were complaining about the out half a few minutes ago, you know, so every action.
That could be a lot of the problem.
You know.
Yeah.
Play with a good distributor and you might have a better game, you know.
Yeah. Harry Byrne is getting a few games now at 12, but he's still on the pitch. His last 2 games now, the Byrne brothers are teaming up. So
he won't be in a green shirt at 12.
No, neither of them.
No, that's not what I mean. But you know, for that out half thing, who knows down the line, like.
Right.
Lads, we're going to have to wrap it up. Thanks a million to Tom Crotty, James Blanchfield, Johnny Tobin for listening or for joining us on the Knock On. We'll be back next week to chat all rugby. Fingers crossed, it's all go well at the weekend.
Best of luck, lads.
Kilkenny to stay up. Exactly, Kilkenny to stay up.
Tommy, you going to Foodstown Saturday or are you on presidential duty?
I'm in Tullow first. I have the Rhinos. At 1 o'clock, and then I have.
I'm in Tullow myself. I'll see you
and
there.
Then I have to get on and hit the kind of road at spots and get back to Carlow for the.
And I reckon you got a flat tire and you come to Foodstown with me.
I'm going to put the president. I'm going to put the presidential.
Well,
give your vice president a day's work for Saturday.
Over my shorts and head to Carlow.
Right, we'll wrap it up there
for Saturday.
We'll wrap it up there, Johnny. We'll chat off air afterwards. So talk to you next week.
See you, mate.
Good luck.